a very, very good day when the best player in a franchise is inducted into your Hall of Fame. That is what happened today with Drew Brees. He is being inducted to the Saints Hall of Fame. It's not even a question. But what I do think is absolutely freaking amazing is everything that man accomplished. He was very vulnerable today in a lot of the things that he said, talking about not being able to throw with his right arm anymore after all the surgeries, all the things that has happened to him, the wear and tear. But I thought the Saints did something fantastic. This poster that they put out today about Drew Brees, the 7-time NFL passing leader in a season or in seasons, the highest completion percentage rate in the NFL at 67.7%, the 6-time NFL percentage leader, 4-time NFL touchdowns leader in seasons, second in NFL career in passing yards at 80,358 yards, 571 career touchdowns, which is second, 2-time NFL Offensive Player of the Year, 13-time Pro Bowler, Super Bowl champion, and 571 total touchdowns. And it's amazing to me that man never won a most valuable player in the league. Nevertheless, Drew Brees is a first ballot Hall of Famer, and congratulations to him for going inside of the Saints Hall of Fame. I will tell you, Drew Brees' press conference today, for me, symbolized a lot of things. Like when you hear a man talking about being the underdog, when you hear a man talking about overcoming the adversity that he did, when you hear a man be that emotional about when he gets hurt in San Diego and somebody giving him a second chance and getting off the plane in New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina, you know all this story. But to hear him say it today, he said it in the past, but to hear him say what he said today was one of the best things that me and almost 1,000 episodes that I have done of this show, it's got to be one of the more emotional things and one of the best things that I've ever heard. So tip of the cap to Drew Brees. I'll say this, this state is very rich when it comes to sports. And from the longevity of what Drew Brees had done for not only the city of New Orleans, but for the entire state, can probably, I just don't know if it can ever be matched to that level year upon year, decade, for well over a decade, and everything that he's done. It's interesting to me that, Drew was not without his controversy at the end of his career. Drew is, Drew seems like the guy he always wants to be apart with his teammates. He talked about him today, being around guys like Cam Jordan, being around one of his former offensive linemen who's now on staff. He is, and I am going to say this with pride and joy, Drew Brees is the best Louisiana sports figure when it comes to what he's accomplished in the state. Now, Joe Burrow, Tyrann Mathieu, Paul Skeens, you can go college and that's fine. This man did it for that long, and what he did is nothing short of absolutely amazing, putting his body on the line the way that he did. Drew is a guy that when it comes down to it, that I don't know where we would be as a franchise, or the Saints would be a franchise without him. Don't know where Sean Payton would be. And it's interesting that you take that risk and it pays off for you. You know what's even crazier, man, is if Nick Saban would have taken that risk, where things might have been for him. Does he ever come back to college football? Who knows? God, you love that Drew in a lot of ways came to New Orleans, but is Nick Saban still in Miami? Does he ever go to Alabama? It's funny how everything, though, in that revolves around Louisiana. And I will tell you, too, that in my time away, now I was going to tweet this and decided not to, and was going to wait for a right moment. It was a great time when we were on vacation, a time to reflect, a time to think about things and just look at where we're planning on going during football season, a lot of things that we're going to be doing for Ruffino and Joe show, a lot of time to reflect. But I will tell you, going away and meeting other people and being in other states in the South, Louisiana never changed. Never changed. This state, for all its issues, for all its controversies, the people of this state make it. We are loyal, even sometimes to a fault. But this place, to me, is more special than anything. And don't let anybody tell you differently. And there have been times, this one included with Drew, where we accept a guy that might be from Texas that's a part of your own now because he is. And that will never change. Drew was asked today about, it's kind of pretty much well known now that his jersey's retired. No one will ever wear number 9 again, nor should they. He's the best player in that franchise's history, and I think that he is the best, one of the biggest, if not the biggest, sports figure of the state. We are live. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Blake Ruffino. Had to give it out for my man, Drew there, man. You got to talk about the good man, Drew. Got to talk about my man, Drew, there in the opening monologue. So glad that he's in the Hall of Fame, but we got lots to discuss. We got some football stuff that we need to talk about because, guys, listen, I know that it's May 30th, but I told you when I left that when we come back, I'm not going to go full deep dive, but we're going to start previewing some teams that are on this LSU football schedule. We'll lead off with that here tonight as well. Jack DeLongchamps joins us at 7:30. DeLongchamps is how you would say it in the Bayou. Okay. From 11.7 from Pencil Talk, the Pencil Talk podcast joins us at 7:30. We're going to talk about the LSU regional. We're going to talk about the Tucson regional. A lot of baseball talk here tonight. Where does he see the tournament going as well? Looking forward to talking to our good man, Jack, as well here. At the end, I'll take your thoughts, questions, concerns inside the chat. I forgot to do that last night. We kind of went a little too long. And at the end, we'll do a football recruiting update because it's going to be a big weekend for the boys in the boot and a big weekend for this team. Big weekend for this program. And I got to be honest, you want to start turning some momentum in recruiting, pop one of these 5-stars that are going to be here on campus this weekend. If you do that, you start getting yourself and this summer more off on a right track. Let's get to a couple comments, though, before we do get rolling. John Bro says, Blake, what do you think of James Simon committing to Texas? So we talked about this yesterday. I did 3 shows yesterday, so it might be kind of blurring together. Look, man, James Simon going to Texas. I don't know how else to say it other than just pulling the Band-Aid right off and coming out with it. I don't really think, when I tell you this, I think that the Simon camp was given an ultimatum. Hey, if you want to be here, you need to commit. We like this Lindsey kid from Alexandria. He wants to be here. Do you want to be here your damn self? And when that happened, he said, I'm not ready to commit. I think his camp got involved. He's got people in his family that have been in college football for a long time, and I think they advised him to wait and hold on. And LSU was like, look, man, we're going to go with the Lindsey kid. And to be honest with you, I think Lindsey's really good. I don't think you're missing a whole lot. So that's what I think. Stephen Fry says the University of Waffles better be ready to catch some Louisiana hands, Blake. The University of Waffles. Oh, of Waffles. I get it. I love it. Our good friend, Stephen Fry. You could go catch our good friend, Stephen Fry, over at Fry Construction. Site work and land development, oil and gas services, commercial construction, aggregate and soil hauling, waste containers, demolition. They do it out there in Eunice. 161 West Maple Street. Give them a call at 337-457-5100. Let them know that your good friend Blake sent you on by. Yeah, we've got a big game against Wofford tomorrow at 11 a.m. I said 12. I saw 12, but it was Eastern Standard Time. It will be on ESPNU, so looking forward to that game tomorrow. We'll be live after that game as well. Anthony says, DJ Pickett official visit this weekend. That is correct. At some point, you got to start shitting or get off the pot. The kid's been here a lot, right? Kid's been here a lot. There's been a lot of talk about DJ Pickett. It's time to shit or get off the pot here. Mac on YouTube says, I had just asked Jack in their podcast chat a couple days ago, when's the next time he was going on with Blake? Glad to see it. I'm ready for some ball. How about that? I did not know that, Mac. Thank you for doing that. Yeah, I just wanted to have him on today, and we spoke this morning, and glad to have him here. Tyler Townsend says, let's go. Blanchard, Louisiana, the 31831 great. He said, Wofford sucks. I actually agree with him there as well. And Tyler, our good friend Carter Bryant said you sent him a hat, man. Yes, indeed. Doesn't fit his big old head, though, but that's awesome. I love it. Good to have Tyler in here. He said he's in Blanchard. Where's everybody else at? Are you in the 985, the 225, the 504, the 337? Where are you from? Speaking of the 337, I'm going to say this, okay? And I know we're not going to stay on this long, but I'm just going to say it anyway. Dustin Poirier fights Islam Makhachev on Saturday. I don't know that if I have ever wanted a fighter in my life to put someone to sleep and win a title more than I want Dustin Poirier to win a title Saturday. I hope it's Louisiana's version of Rocky IV. Louisiana versus Russia come Saturday. I hope Dustin hits him with one of those cross right hooks, drops his Russian ass. He says he can outbox Dustin. Please, God, please try. Please, dear Lord, try. But they'll probably result to wrestling. And hopefully, Alex Volkanovski showed how to do that. So we'll see. We will see. Charlie Viator says things about to pop in recruiting. I do hope so. They need it. They do need it. Rick Mobley, what's up, Rick? Says, didn't Lindsey move ahead of Simon in the last upgrade? I don't know, Rick, to be honest with you. For what it's worth, I don't keep up with it like that. I really don't. I really don't. If they did, good on them. Cortez Herman says he's watching, loving your show from the 985. Good to see that the 985 is in the building. Spectrum Wellcare says Dustin better watch out for that leg kick to the head. Yeah, he's gonna have to watch that. Oh, but Islam's got like staff or something, so Islam better watch out for them leg kicks. Stand up, bro. Like, I know wrestling's a big part of the game, but you can't be all week talking about how you're a better boxer than dude than try to take him down in wrestling. Stand up. Don't be a Linda is in the 318. She says she's in Bossier. Good to have you here. Stephen says he's in the tree 7. So that's where Portier's from. Penn Jones says he's in Princeton, Texas. Good to have you in here as well. Charlie's in the 337 as well. Mickey says he's in the 318 Stonewall. Good to have you in here. Stonewall. A lot of 337, a lot of 318 representing tonight. You got to love it, man. You absolutely got to love it. All right. Let's get to it. Everybody do us a favor by hitting the like and share to all those groups. If you're on Facebook, share to all of those social media pages. You're watching us, listening to us on YouTube. Like, subscribe, notification bell, wherever you listen to podcasts. Rate, review, and subscribe. Let's talk about our good friends over at betonline.ag, our good friend Tyler Alexander over at LPT Realty, and their good friends over at J&J Exterminating. But you know what time it is. Guys, I am telling you, don't miss out on the Melon brand hat sale. Guys, it's almost out. That 30% is almost off. The best hat on the market, melonbrand.com. Use that promo code AYS at checkout. That's AYS. You should know it. You're here by now. AYS at checkout. Get that 30% discount. Guys, I will continue to tell you. I promise you, the most comfortable hat that I've ever worn, the best fitting hat that I have ever worn is from Melon and Melon Brand, melon.com. Go over to the website today. It's melon.com. Use that promo code AYS at checkout to receive that 30% off. All right, let's get rolling. We got lots to discuss. Break down a little football. We got a lot of baseball talk. Jack joins us at 7:30, so it's going to be really fun. Stay with us. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way for you to wager on all of your favorite sports, contests, events with the first-to-market odds and lines. Find reviews for all the news for each league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, college sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all of your sports information for live in-game betting, props, and futures. Head on over to BetOnline today and use your mobile device to join and make your first sports bet. Use our promo code BELIEVE50, that's BELIEVE50, BLEAV 50, to receive your 50% off welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's betonline.ag, betonline.ag.
He will sell your house and find you a new. Well, Tyler's the man, he's here for you. If you want to buy or sell, well, it's not too late. Dial 955-0008. Just call 955-0008. Y'all call Tyler, he'll shoot you straight.
Louisiana is unique. The food, the festivals, even the bugs. No, not mud bugs. Unwanted bugs like these. The ones you don't want crawling in your home or business. Trust the Shield from J&J Exterminating. We've been protecting Louisiana homes for over 50 years, earning the trust of our clients because we deliver what we promise. Protect your home from pests. Get the Shield from J&J Exterminating.
J&J Exterminating. Yeah.
We're back. All right. Let me just say this because I took one of these comments out in the Facebook chat. This is not a place where we're going to talk about politics. There's a lot of shows that do politics. If you want to go over there, I know some things happened today. That's good for you. When politics revolve around LSU, I will get involved and break my one rule. Until then, I don't care where you lean, what you want to do, what you want to talk about. That's all upon you. All right, let's get rolling. So last week I told you when we got back from vacation that I would actually be talking a little bit about and previewing a little bit about the 2024 football season. Now, there's been a lot of talk around USC, mainly due to the fact that Lincoln Riley was trying to get the LSU game moved and all this kind of BS. And then now he's using his buddy Colin Cowherd to get USC and Notre Dame, that rivalry, to stop for whatever reason. So it's probably good to maybe give a small little preview about USC and where LSU may stand. Let me say this when we start, because this is about the time that we start breaking down, June and July, when you and I start breaking down teams on LSU's schedule. Well, LSU's first game is against USC, and we're going to break it down a lot more from now until they kick off on September the 1st. But normally that last week in May is when we start. It's not going to be an exception here. I want to say this about USC. I've seen a lot of LSU fans say to me and point out that defensively USC is very bad. Well, if we're being a little honest, you're not very much better than they are. Now, do I think that you have better personnel than them defensively? Actually, yes, I do. At all three levels, I think that you have better players than USC does on defense. Don't sleep on them. Now, I know what happens when a guy like me says something like that because it's happened the last 4 years. What do I mean? Well, when we talked about Mississippi State, I said, guys, listen, game one, Mike Leach, don't sleep on him. You know, you got a young secondary. COVID has happened. You hadn't had a lot of time to maybe practice and prep for this air raid. You don't know what you're going to get from a personnel standpoint from Mississippi State. You wind up losing. KJ Costello just threw another touchdown on LSU. Then you and I had the conversation about UCLA, and I thought that you were going to win and that you were a lot better there, but that Chip Kelly was going to run the football right at you, and if you didn't make adjustments very early in that game, you were going to get beat. Well, you wind up not making adjustments, and you got beat. Well, now I look at both of those Florida State games. And both times of things that we pointed out in reference to those game openers came to fruition. Hey, their defensive line is extremely good. Jared Verse, Braden Fisk, that front seven is really stinking good. Keon Coleman is a beast. And I still remember people arguing with me about if Keon Coleman could actually play at LSU. Newsflash, hoes, he could have played here. When I look at USC and when I look at the things that they have, guys, offensively, they are no slouch. I do think Miller Moss is not as good, clearly, as Caleb Williams was, but I think he plays inside the system a lot better than what Williams did. And to some extent could make them a little bit more dangerous because they do play inside the system, and when things roll on all cylinders, it might not be a good deal for you. They got a really elite wide receiver in Zachariah Branch. They're going to run a lot of things that you saw, like at Florida State. They're going to run a lot of counters with their offensive line. But for once, I actually believe that from a coaching perspective and coaching guys up, for once in quite some time, you might be a little ahead of the curve when it comes to the opener. I think that you have the overall better staff. I think you have the better head coach. I think you have the better defensive coordinator. Now, offensive play calling, guys, I hate to say this because I still love Joe Sloan. Lincoln Riley is more proven and a better OC at the current moment than what Joe Sloan has proven. But you cannot go into Vegas on that Sunday and play around with them. We can say that they're scared because they try to back out. We can say a whole bunch of different things, but I think their offensive line is not as bad as people give them credit for. I think they got weapons on the outside, and you're going to more than likely, probably, at least what it looks like, start a true freshman on the outside at corner. And Zachariah Branch is not a good matchup for a first-time starter and a guy like P.J. Woodland. You're going to have to give him some assistance and some help. You're going to have to find ways to generate pressure and get after Miller Moss. Because if you let him sit back in the pocket, he's going to do to you exactly what he did in the bowl game, and that's light people up. Because the last time, and actually for the first time that we saw Miller Moss in the bowl game, he threw for 6 touchdowns. Yeah, he threw a pick, but the kid performed pretty well. Oh, and by the way, they have a new defensive coordinator out in South Cal, D'Anton Lynn, who, by the way, is going to give your very, very talented offensive line everything that they can handle. Well, what do I mean by that? Guys, D'Anton Lynn is not going to sit on his heels. He's going to send pressure after pressure after pressure after pressure. And Garrett's going to have to know that there are going to be times that he's just going to have to get the ball out of his hands very quickly to his playmakers and let them make plays. Now, there's a reason that this game is a 6.5-point spread. Well, LSU was actually a favor the last 2 years when it came to Florida State. And I will warn you that I think that this game is going to be closer than people expect. I don't know if you're going to go into Vegas and blow them out. I think it's going to be a one-score game between the both of you as I look at it right now. Now, can we get out there in August, and can things change? Can I look at this and things change? 100%. Because your team wasn't fully ready to go when we saw him last in spring. You know, what does Javier Suggs bring to you? What does Gio Paez bring to you? Do they bring enough to make you feel a little bit more confident about your defensive line? Can you be in a place where schematically you're able to take it to the next level? So if you've watched, I mean, we're coming up on 1,000 shows here. If you've watched when we started on all of these breakdowns of teams before we hit August, I will tell you, it's like, I know a lot of you, if you watched the movie Lion King, and in Lion King, Mufasa tells Scar, stop playing around with your food. Now is the time, with things shifting in the conference, where you look yourself in the mirror and say, we got to start acting and being the program that we are and stop performing like the program that we're not. Lean on things that you are really good on. You know, it's ironic. When we had Carter Bryant on the other day or yesterday, I used a baseball analogy with him, which is ironic because Jack's going to be joining us soon. What did Jay Johnson lean on? What did he lean on in the tournament? What do elite coaches do? Elite coaches lean in on. So to all 580 of you that's in here right now, what did Jay lean on? The thing that he knew that would work best. Guys like Gage Jump, guys like Holman. Football-wise, and I know we got a long way to go, you're going to have to lean on an offensive line. Guys, to be honest with you, I know that you hate Les Miles, and I know that for whatever reason, every single offseason where there's not shit to talk about and everybody's got their thumb up their ass because there's nothing to talk about and content is scarce, people start making fun of Les. But you know what? When you have an O-line that is this good and this dominant, you got to go into a season with the mentality of, I am going to beat the dog shit out of you. There's not a motherfucker in sight, excuse my language, that can beat us. Because we're going to dominate them. And I think that us as a state, a roughneck type of state, us as a fan base, us as a team, are known for being tough. Let's start getting back to it and punching somebody in the frickin' mouth. So, what I would tell you is, I know a lot of you think that we can go into Vegas and blow a team out. What I am telling you is, you better be cautious because USC has a lot of really good talent. All right. The team has told me that Jack is in the building. Pencil talk. Now, I'm going to ask him this. If I'm not mistaken, LSU is 10-1 when he is at an LSU game. If this is correct, I'm going to need you all to send in super chats on YouTube right now because we're sending Jack to Chapel Hill. And if he doesn't go and we lose the regional, we're banning him from the state of Louisiana. That's it. That's it. All right. Let's get into some baseball talk. Let me get to a quick break. Our man Jack joins us. Pencil Talk, 11.7. We'll talk about the Chapel Hill Regional. Tucson. Is Dallas Baptist going to pull it off? A 2-seed there, too. Could you have two seeds? Deuce is wild here going into a regional that is very winnable. We'll talk about that. What does he think about the field of 64 as well? So we'll do that when we return. Stay with us. Going to be a fun chat. Guys, you might know my good friend Carol Falls and all the great service that he provides over at State Farm. He is your good neighbor after all. But did you know State Farm has surprisingly great rates as well? Along with the great neighbor service, State Farm agent Carol Falls has surprisingly great rates for everyone inside the state of Louisiana. So call him today at 985-395-4300, 985-395-4300 for all of those surprisingly great rates on auto, home, and life insurance needs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there, and individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to the State Farm underwriting requirements. By the Drake Williams Law Firm, drakewilliamslawfirm.com.
DeLongchamps.com. Whether you've been injured in an accident, you're preparing for a future with your estate planning, you're getting ready to close in on a real estate deal, or you're about to welcome a new addition through adoption into your family, or you're facing criminal charges, you need very experienced attorneys, and that is what the Drake Williams Law Firm will be able to do for you in navigating the legal system. The door to their cozy office in historic downtown Ponchatoula has been open since 1981. They have helped thousands and thousands of Louisiana families and individuals win cases, close on real estate deals, and regain that peace of mind. Their lawyers over at the Drake Williams Law Firm, Ernie Drake III, Ryan J. Williams, and Summer Vignair, are very determined, compassionate, and dedicated to their craft. It's the Drake Williams Law Firm, drakewilliamslawfirm.com. Give them a call today at 985-386-7600. Tell them your good friend Blake Ruffino at AYS sent you on by.
J&J has protected Louisiana homes and businesses for over 60 years.
Call him today, make the pests go away. J&J Exterminating. Yeah.
Jack, our man from Pencil Talk, also from 11.7 is our guest. Good evening, good sir. How are you?
Dude, what a day in paradise to be back with the fellas. It was an honor to get the recall back in, but I'm blessed to join tonight, my guy.
Well, look, I knew you were very busy. You were all over the place, all over the country when it came to college baseball. Didn't want to be a bother to you, but you're back. You're here. You're looking good. But I got to ask you a question. I heard a little birdie on the staff told me something today. They saw that we were having you on. Is it true that LSU baseball is 10-1 when you are in attendance?
So do you want the full story? Or do you want the honest to God truth?
Yes. What is when you're in attendance for an LSU game? Is LSU 10-1? Tell us the whole and nothing but the truth. So help you God.
I first got to see the LSU Tigers in Omaha last year when the pencil was just proof of concept. I roll out, they dominate. They dominate. The only game that they lost while I was in person at Charles Schwab Field last year, I sat with Jackson Coar and Brady Singer, two former Florida Gator national champions. I sat with them during game 2 of that national championship.
So you that's on me. Game 2.
Hand up. It's on me. They dominated from start to finish. I sit with a good buddy of mine, Jackson Coar, who's currently now pitching with the Seattle Mariners. Shout out to the boy. And with his former teammate, Brady Singer, both Florida Gators. So LSU Nation, game 2 was on me last year. They take care of game 3 when I was sitting in the dugout with Peloso and the boys. Now, when you fast forward to this year, I roll into Houston in the College Classic. Grab your brooms, it's a mess. They clean sweep. And then you look forward to Hoover this week. I drive down to Hoover. If you haven't been, it's an absolute bucket list. And the boys take care of business. Backs up against the wall. They got to win the one-and-done game. They do that with ease. And then yet again, just like in Omaha, just like in Houston, they win these improbable games with the most unbelievable heroics to date. And I got to tell you, and I got to be honest with you, so that asterisk, that one loss in Omaha that I do have an asterisk next to, I left the SEC championship game early in the 6th inning. That's 2 losses. That's 10-2. And I know the first one why it was my fault. This second, I got an 8-hour drive back. I'm trying not to make it 4 o'clock in the morning. Brutal parking in Hoover with a whole lot of LSU crazy fans there. I leave early by getting my pregame interview. So, hey, Tiger fans, that's on me. Hand up.
Just tell us next time that you don't want to drive, and we'll fly you. You know, like we'll get all the equipment out there. We'll get a GoFundMe. You know, like come on, man. The Tigers need a win here.
Hey, be very careful, sir. I told you that. I told you last time. I said you're inspiring the aspiring. I'm trying to learn how to tell stories in sports. I'm trying to learn how to do it for a living. If you're telling me that Bayou Nation is going to help me pack up my bags, don't you dare think I won't do it. I'll do it in a heartbeat.
Well, are you going to be in Chapel Hill this weekend? Where are you going to be?
Buckle up.
Okay.
Buckle up. Chapel Hill. I'll see you next week. Let's go.
Yes. Okay. I love it. I love it so much. Jack is our guest. Look, buddy, let's get into it. So you talked about LSU and the outright heroics that they needed. Look, I think it actually started, obviously, with that Ole Miss series. Getting the sweep, getting in those 13 wins was a big deal. And then you come back here and you have that just amazing run in the tournament through that 8-game stretch. What have you seen from LSU that you think is the most impressive?
I know the last time that we talked, and it was, I guess, early March.
Yep.
I don't want to be like, hey, I screw up a lot. I was spot on with this team. I never wavered. I really never lost belief. And I couldn't understand the hate towards LSU that Florida wasn't getting a game over 500. But I figured it out. It's because your fans care way more, right? So like, there's a level of expectation that comes with it, right?
Yes.
Love that. And I think the boys felt that. The thing that changed to me was that they just continued to buy in, right? Like it takes time with a brand new group. What was so impressive in Hoover to me, right, was the senior leadership of Milazzo and Travinsky proving to be true. Michael Braswell at the top of that lineup, their unwavering support in him in that shortstop spot. All of a sudden, he went from a guy that just was flashing the leather to a real table and tone setter in that leadoff spot. Tommy White's Tommy White. But to me, the pick to click, and he does it every year. Josh Pearson, to me.
I know. Mr. Clutch.
Every time, man. He's a Cape Cod all-star. Like, he continues to show up when the lights are shining brightest. He's been a dog. The emergence of these youngsters right at the bottom of the lineup, I was never too worried about the offense. The big question mark, right, was that bullpen. It's been fantastic. Griffin Herring's been good. Christian Little looks like he could pitch in the big leagues next week, like 98 to 100 with 90-mile-per-hour slider. Are you kidding me? And then all of a sudden, you get guys like Fidel Ulola, and they all of a sudden, as a starter on the mound, I don't have to feel all the pressure in the world to go 7 or 8 innings to find a win for our team. Thatcher Hurd can go get you 6, and we know that the back end's going to take care of you. Right. Then all of a sudden, Jump, who's been fantastic this year, Holman, who's been lights out. Like, these guys don't have to feel all that pressure on their shoulders, and they can just go through their thing. And to me, it looked like the difference last week, where instead of a group that looked like their backs were against the wall, they just were playing poker with their cards face up on the table, letting it rip all week.
I felt the same way. And, even they gave Pearson the hit. It was bases loaded. He comes up with a hit. First baseman goes right under his glove. I mean, they give him a hit regardless of what you believe on it. I mean, he still puts the ball in play, comes up clutch, the run still scores, and he did it in that first game. Gets the base hit, gets the order back to Braswell, who, Jack, I got to be honest, I think Tommy hitting behind him, has been a whirlwind for him because he's seen him so many more fastballs. I saw a stat the other day that he's seen like 2 times the amount of fastballs, where he's been able to barrel up some. He doubles his home run production that he had all year. It's been fantastic. What do you think going into this Chapel Hill regional that makes LSU dangerous against North Carolina, Wofford, and as the chat like to call them, the Long Island Iced Tea team?
I got to be honest with you. LSU Nation's not going to love it. I'm obsessed with Long Island. There's been a long ongoing joke in our preseason pick'ems. I picked Long Island to win the Northeastern Conference solely because I have a tattoo of a shark on my leg. I had no idea anything to do with their team, right? So, Blake, you're going to love this. I have a shark tattoo on my leg. It was a decision and a choice made with lots of peer pressure involved. So he's also got a spinny hat, my tattoo. Long Island that's been their home run celly, has been a celly hat. They hit a homer, put the spinny hat on. So I'm all in on the Sharks. Like,
are you picking them to win the regional?
I think they're going to win Omaha in my polite. But if they don't, I got the Tigers there in Chapel Hill too. But when we really break down this regional, man, Wofford's a really fun team under first-year head coach J.J. Edwards. They hit 348 as a team this year. So, like, LSU fans, there's been a lot of conversation about who to throw in this game. Let Gage jump onto the same day's rest. Go shove. Go get a win. Go get a win under your belt, and then move on to the next, because that next game, I think, is what everyone's had highlighted, right? And maybe I think a lot of college baseball individuals' opinions, like, this is the best 1-2 punch in the country. I think if you're North Carolina, you got to be super disappointed as a number 4 overall national seed to get the freaking reigning champs rolling into town, playing their best ball to date. And then vice versa, if you're LSU, You'd have thought that it got maybe a 15 or a 14 number one overall seed by the way they had been playing. Like if you're going off the eye test, so man, they're gonna have their hands full. The ACC was a lot better this year than it was in years past. North Carolina was really tough to beat at home, and when we see LSU and North Carolina, like I'm predicting Saturday night, you're gonna have borderline 3 to 4 professional baseball players on that diamond in the next year. Vance Honeycutt for North Carolina is a dude, a 25-25 walking dog. But to me, it's the depth of LSU that's going to provide North Carolina a lot of problems. North Carolina offensively is going to be really tough. The pitching has been a little bit of a question mark later in the back half of their ACC slate. So, man, you're looking at 2 premier college baseball blue blood programs. And I think that's the most exciting part of this year.
Yeah, to start off with Wofford, I'm going to go back and circle back with you to North Carolina. Jack, I get this, and I know that this isn't fair to Wofford, the Fighting Terriers. The 2 teams that they played with an RPI over 100, they got absolutely hosed in, right? And the question becomes, like, I've heard a lot about their batting average, and you brought up Gage Jump. I agree with you deep down. You got to throw Jump. Like, you can't not go into that game. God forbid you try to just piece it together and lose. Then you're in a whole different whirlwind that you can't be in. The thing, though, when I look at them, I guess I question and I ask you this, is the stats deceiving me? Because when they faced Georgia, when they faced Kennesaw State, they really struggled. Am I off base there?
Well, no, I completely understand what you're saying. But this is like, you want me to give you the coach talk? Take all the records, take all the numbers, throw them out the window, the 0-0, bah.
Very fair.
You know what I mean? I saw this Wofford team. This isn't like a bit. This isn't a gag. Like they hit. And what's really fun about this Wofford team is like they're a team that completely understands their identity, right? Their head coach goes and takes the BC job this past year. And that's why J.J. Edwards in his first year is kind of just taking the baton and run. They bunt, they hit, they steal a ton of bags. They're top 5 in stolen bases in the last 3 seasons.
140, dude.
Yeah, that's a lot of bags.
That's a lot.
So they're going to live and die by the identity, right? Like Alex Milazzo guns dudes out at an insane clip. They're going to keep going, right, when they get guys on. So that's where, to me, like, they just provide a different matchup. So, like, almost think for our football fans, like, this is a triple option like team rolling into the ballpark. You know what I mean? Like, hey, we're going to practice for it all week. But then when you see it in between the white lines, like, all right, you can be ready to go. So that's kind of the bit, you know what I mean? Like they're going to play their style of game, whether it's against LSU or if it's against Kennesaw State, like you mentioned. So, you know, whether it works or whether it doesn't, they're going to live and die by the identity, which makes them a little bit precarious in this spot.
Do you think Gage Jump being the lefty, I know this is you're going to say yes, but how much does it help him being a lefty from them running that much?
A ton, right? And I think the question then begs, like, for fans who don't want to throw Jump and save him for North Carolina the next day, is this idea, like, hey, you don't necessarily want to take him out of routine. And then you also, like, there's this idea and premise of, hey, well, obviously we should be able to throw our Tuesday guy at LSU and beat Wofford. Well, having a lefty on the mound to minimize the run game, it is a big part of it, right? Like, are you going to go first movement? Are you going to go when he breaks the hands? It becomes a big question. So I think LSU is at a cool point where, like, they don't have to worry about who they're strapping it up with. Like, they're just going to go play their game. They're going to do a little bit of homework and scout them out a little bit. But as long as they play their caliber of ball game, like, they're going to be fine. I just don't want it to become a look-ahead game for them. You know what I mean? Like, that's when it becomes dangerous.
Yeah, especially, you know, if it was just batting average and they were hitting 350 or I'm rounding up, but if they were hitting 350 and they didn't steal 140 bags, it'd be like, okay, maybe that's one thing, but they run so much. And look, Milazzo's going to have to be big. You know, like, I mean, look, if you get guys on, you're going to have to be big there. And, I mean, he's the elite behind the plate. Let's look at North Carolina. Vance Honeycutt. Good Lord, I think he's the best athlete in maybe all of college baseball. I really don't know. I think I can make the argument. When you're a 25-25 guy, dude, that's insane, right? Like, they are a really good team. Break down North Carolina for me.
Do you want to talk some Vance Honeycutt? I know you're an MLB The Show guy. I know we talked about it last time I was here. Did we not?
Just want to throw this out there. We got drafted by my son, 5 years old, by the way. Took him to the Braves game. Okay. I'm a Yankees man. My son has now been converted to the Braves, but regardless, he's on the Pirates. He's a catcher. He's hit 94 home runs this year. Okay, he has 237 RBIs. So yes, if what you're about to say is the same, Vance Honeycutt is the creative player that my son created on MLB The Show.
First name, last name, like the way he wears the uniform, the way that he approaches the box, the way that he patrols center field. This is first name, last name. Like he is your MLB The Show guy. He's a dog, and he's protecting that lineup in a really talented lefty in Casey Cook, who like he just rakes. Like he hits everything. Anthony D'Onofrio is a really fun story from the Northeast that bounced around from D3 to a small mid-major, and he's found a way to make home in Chapel Hill, and is just like a crazy arm talent from right field. He rakes, does a little bit of everything in the box. So to me, like they have front end talent. The only question mark with North Carolina where they've gotten in trouble, which wasn't a lot as they won the ACC by like 2.5 games, was that back end support. And they've got really talented pieces. It's North Carolina. It's LSU. These are two of the most frontier names in college baseball. I know I just said that, but like, doesn't that give you goosebumps to see those two jerseys like lining up for the anthem on Saturday night? Like this is what we play it for. So when you talk about UNC, you're going to get that pedigree, especially at the Bosch where they don't lose. And I think it's going to take like a chippy, fiery LSU team to like, yo, let's muddy the water. Like let's try to dirty this game up in a way where like we try to get UNC a little bit uncomfortable in how they go about their business on Saturday night.
You talked about their bullpen, so this was the next question I had. Do you think that is where LSU can exploit them? Do you think that that's where LSU, if there is an issue, because look, Christian Little status aside, in hearing some things, I mean, he practiced in full today, so I feel a little bit confident about where he's at. LSU with Herring, LSU with Little, and even Hurd getting you 6 outs. I thought, look, in a 6-out span, Thatcher Hurd was pretty dominant the last 2 times we saw him. It's when he's getting into that third inning that he's been an issue. So if he's coming out of the pen, I think that to your point, might be LSU's biggest strength. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree. I think Thatcher Hurd is a really interesting arm. I think a lot of it is upstairs. I think there was a lot of pressure on his shoulder with guys departing from a year ago, right? Like first-round draft guys. And he feels like he's got to become this dude. When in reality, the stuff plays. There's a reason he got invited back to the Cape. There's a reason that he's been slated a weekend starter.
Right.
When you let a dude like that come out of the pen and go, let it rip. No need to hold back. No need to like try to conserve energy for late in the game. Go let it rip. To your point, Blake, I think might be a perfect spot for him where they can almost feel out how the game's going. He's like their big chess piece. He comes into a game where they're up a run or two and he can go slam the door for 3 outs. Or if they need him to go long and go get 3-4 innings and not let him go see that lineup the second or third time through the lineup, he becomes an X factor, in my opinion, out of the back end. And a really beautiful point by you, because I think moving forward, that is how they're going to use him.
Well, I mean, look, Jack, I look at his last 2 appearances, okay, Ole Miss and then getting the start, okay, so Cole Messina is hotter than a crack spoon, okay, and what had been all like legit. Okay, that's probably a bad way to.
No, clip that. I'm telling you, I know Messina well. I'm texting him that I'm like, yo, did you know?
Okay, I'll clip it and send it to you. But am I wrong? He was hotter than a crack spoon all tournament long. Okay, and look, you go through that lineup once, and Hurd gets 6 big outs. Okay, well, he did that against Ole Miss too, and look, their lineup isn't bad. I think, Jack, to your point of Hurd being an X factor, has mainly been the fact, like, hey, when he starts seeing that lineup the second time through, has been his biggest issue all year. I mean, look, Jay talked about this the other night when, look, Thatcher Hurd's off-speed stuff, his slider has more spin than, like, I think it's like 5 guys in the MLB are better than him, and that's it. I mean, the stuff plays. Now, can he throw strikes? But I know that he can get you 6 outs. I agree with you. It's all up here. The dude physically can play. So I do think that's interesting. Now, I'm going to ask you about your team in Long Island, okay, because there's always a 4 seed that comes out of nowhere that nobody's expecting to come out. Like it happened, was it Penn last year, or I forget, beating Auburn, like whoever. is Long Island the team that nobody's talking about but could come out of a region and be like, oh my God, they took down 2 blue bloods?
I sure as hell hope so. It'd be great for my spinning hat and my tattoo, wouldn't it?
You'd have to get another one on the other leg, right?
Dude, I already told the boys up at Long Island I'm getting the whole jersey tattooed on my shark. Like, it's done. It's a done deal. It's going to be sweet. But it's a tough draw for my Sharks. I'll tell you.
Very tough draw.
It's a tough draw. If you're looking for a 4 seed, though, and I think I found it. I interviewed him earlier this week because I'm a big believer. High Point in the Clemson Regional this week. High Point is a team in the Big South. It's the first time that they've ever made the NCAA tournament. And this is a ball club that can run the baseball out the yard. They hit bombs. They got a kid in Peyton Carr who's got 13 homers in 24 games, guys. He just came off of injury. He's slugging 900. This is like Charlie Condon times 10 in this sample size. So they are playing hot as a they're playing hot as a crack spoon. Right?
Yeah, they are.
18-4 since he returned into that lineup. 18-4. I think Clemson's vulnerable, and they're a 4 seed in that Clemson stacked regional with Coastal and Vanderbilt. They're a 4 seed I have my eye on. I just think that this year, with the parity in college baseball, it's the oldest the sport's ever been. In my opinion, it's the best because of it from veteran experience the sport's ever been. I think we're going to see a lot of 4 seeds. I think we're going to see maybe a 3 seed in Omaha this year. You're going to see like some serious chaos ensue starting tomorrow at noon.
Well, you know what's interesting, too? I thought the ACC, besides Florida State, the ACC teams and their regionals, dude, they got brutal draws. You talking about North Carolina getting LSU, Clemson got Vandy, right?
Yep.
Wasn't it? Yep. I mean, that's brutal, dude. And then you're talking now about High Point going to Clemson. I mean, like, Georgia didn't get that. I mean, Georgia didn't get that type of draw. I mean, like, it's always going to happen. I mean, teams are going to get brutal draws, but Jesus, Marion Joseph. I mean, I thought LSU got a tough draw last year in the regional. I mean, Oregon State was hitting 320. I mean, so that's going to happen. Jack, let me ask you this. Let's go to Tucson very quickly because that's where LSU is paired up with. Why do I want to take Dallas Baptist in that Tucson regional?
Well, I'll tell you what, man, if you want to take it, you'll be with my boy Ben Upton. I call him the needle of college baseball. Whatever Upton says goes, dude. I'm telling you, he's all over this DBU team. They're a lot like East Carolina for fans that are studying this DBU. This is a mid-major powerhouse that has knocked on the doorstep of Omaha for years and years to come. This is a team that, in my opinion, in that regional, you're looking at Arizona, who did finish off the season like playing really, really solid. Then you got West Virginia, the 3 seed, who's got a top 5 pick in J.J. Weatherholt. You've got Randy Mazey, their head coach, on his swan song his last season up at WVU. And the Grand Canyon team has a 4 seed in that regional. That's strong. Like, they've already gone and beaten Arizona in a midweek earlier this year. Like, they know exactly what they're walking into. Mm-hmm. So all of a sudden, like, if you see an upset there, and West Virginia's maybe playing with that emotion on high, this is staged for Ryan Johnson and DBU. I don't know if a ton of your fans – Ryan Johnson's a kid that's basically Nolan Ryan. He throws like 100 miles per hour. He walks some guys, but he strikes a ton out. And opponents are hitting like $170 against him. So this DBU team, to your point, like, if I'm an LSU fan and I want to see a couple more games at the box, that's your best bet. Like, that is by far a mid-major that I think not only has the pieces to go to Omaha. In my honest to God opinion, they have the mid-major pieces, the transfer portal guys, the veteran experience, and the studs in the front end to even win Omaha. So, like, hey, be great to get to the box, but be careful what you wish for, because that would be an electric super with DBU and LSU.
I completely agree. I think I'm gonna do mine tomorrow morning. My bracket tomorrow morning. I think I'm gonna take them.
You should.
I think I'm going to take DBU. Now, let me ask you this. Is there a team – I know you talked about High Point. Is there a team that potentially another team that you're looking at that you're like, hey, got a very favorable draw that you think that can make it to Omaha too?
Well, let me give you two. You two because you brought up one. A favorable draw and a team that's playing angry as hell that I think is going to be a 2 seed that like walks easily in Omaha is Duke. Duke is the ACC champion. I know this is a sexy pick right now, but I've seen Duke all season long. This is as complete of a team in the country as you're going to find. 4 preseason All-Americans on the mound. They've got 2 corner infielders that are 24 years old and Ivy League transfers, and Ben Miller, who hit 420 in the ACC, and Logan Bravo, who's just on a scorcher right now, a Harvard transfer that's got like 17 home runs leading the way. You talk about Wallace Clark at short for them, who is a Big 12 Freshman of the Year candidate at OU. So he's heading back home. And then Zach Morris, who played 5 years of really good baseball at VMI, getting another shot at Duke. Take that and all of the stud freshmen in the outfield with those arms I told you about. Duke is, to me, a team. I don't know if you got to watch the selection show.
I did.
Well, Duke was furious. Duke went in, and they announced Duke as the 2 seed, the ACC champions, a top 10 team all year, not hosting, going to the Big 12 champions OU. They took it personal. They didn't clap. They didn't cheer. They sat. They stared. They watched. That shit fires me up. Like, on a million. So you won me over there. So Duke is the 2 seed that I really like, that I think has got a great path into Omaha. The one that you brought up that I want, here's my underdog pick. Okay. Another mid-major team knocking on the door, has never won a regional. It feels like now is the time. Everyone thinks Georgia got an easy draw. Everyone's got Georgia and Georgia Tech highlighted, right? For that 8 p.m. slot on Saturday on ESPN. UNC Wilmington's really good. I mean,
okay.
They're a 2 seed, and everyone's like, oh, that's an easy 2 seed to beat up on. They are good. They got a kid in Tanner Thatch who's an 18th rounder out of high school that hit 24 homers and like 70 plus RBIs this year. Their rotation is nasty. Like, someone's going to go watch Georgia Tech and UNC Wilmington tomorrow and go, who the hell is Wilmington? And why is their starter throwing 96? And then all of a sudden you're going to go, every one of their back end guys throws that hard too. Oh, and then their Saturday guy is 92 to 94 with great stuff. Like, they have legit Power 5 stuff. And to me, it's a team where if Georgia's bats are just asleep for a couple innings, Wilmington can pounce on them. Like, I know it looks like an easy draw on paper. That's a team that I think is going to end up in a super regional this year.
Some of those guys in that regional sound like future LSU Tigers. All I'm going to say.
Yeah.
I'm just going to throw that out. I'm just going to throw that out there. You know, the portal. You know, Drew Burris. What's up? You know a regional that I think is going to be. And look, I hate to say this because they're a team coming into the SEC and their fans can be very obnoxious. I think that Texas and Texas A&M being in that regional with Louisiana or ULL is going to. You got Cajuns and a bitter rivalry all in the same ballpark. Oh my God! I literally thought about, and I know LSU is in Chapel Hill and we're doing these the post games and stuff. I thought about making a trip over there because I know that it's going to be fire in College Station.
It's going to be a bad weekend to be a beer at Bluebell Park.
Oh, God. It's going to be a bad week to be a bubble, too. Dude, it is going to be brutal. And, look, I know people don't watch a lot of softball sometimes, but when I talk about it, dude, Texas and Texas A&M just faced off in the Super Regional.
How good was that?
It was amazing. It's like a precursor to what's going to happen this weekend, Jack.
It feels like the rivalry renewed, right? Like, hey,
yes,
we're back. There's bad blood. Trust me, those fan bases have felt it. I just saw the cult-like behavior of the ball 4 chants of Section 203, and I mean cult in the most congratulatory way. Like, it is as in person as it feels on TV. But you're right. But to me, it's another matchup where Texas better not overlook the Raging Cajuns, man. Matt Deggs is
not. That team can hit, man. I give them a lot of shit, but that team can really swing it.
Yeah.
I talk a lot of shit about ULL, but they can swing it. I'll give them that now.
They got a shortstop who, in my opinion, might be the best shortstop in the country, in Kyle DeBarge. And he's a lot like a dude in Tommy White for our LSU fans. Kyle DeBarge is a guy that can win a game by himself. You'll look up and you'll be like, he's 3 for 5 with a homer and 2 doubles, and he's got 6 RBIs.
Shit, he almost beat LSU by himself.
He's a dog. He's a dog. So that's going to be you're right. Those are 3 absolutely lunatic fan bases. I've already pegged it as by far the best uniform regional. Not even close, really.
Oh, hell yes.
Yeah.
Hell yes. I legitimately – if our good friends over at BetOnline came to me and said, Blake, what do you think the over-under on fights will be this weekend? Fist fights. I go at least 25.
Give me all.
Like, dude, drunk Cajuns and a bitter rivalry. Dude, I just want to be there to see this shit go down. It might be better fights than our boy Dustin Poirier fighting the Russian this weekend. You know, what I mean?
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be so good.
Jack DeLongchamps, buddy. Pencil Talk is going to get fantastic. The content, dude, that you were producing all SEC tournament was freaking amazing. I just want to congratulate you on all your success. You boys over at 11.7, you are doing fantastic. Tell everybody where they can catch all your stuff. Thank you so much for joining us, but tell everybody where they can catch all your stuff and all you guys will be doing during this regional.
Oh, dude, it's such a pleasure to join me. I can't believe it, and thank you for having me back. But, man, hey, 11.7, the College Baseball Podcast, available on all streaming platforms, Apple, Spotify, all that crap, right? And then me personally, Jay DeLongchamps, Pencil Talk, same type of deal, man. Just love telling stories in sports and trying to be like this guy right here. So I appreciate you having me.
I don't know about that, but I do one thing. I need to get one of those hats that y'all were pushing. I went in there and it was the 11.7 hat, the one.
I got you. Are you going this weekend?
I'm not going this weekend. We got to do the post games. I missed all.
I heard you say post game, so I didn't know if you were doing that on site.
Yeah, no, we can't. Long story short, the NCAA frowns upon you doing a post game unless you get authorization. So.
Gotcha. Well, let me ask you this: Are we going to be at the box if we get a super?
If we're going, yes, we'll be there. The last time I went, to a super regional, I got there, legitimately drove back to my house, literally grilled out steaks during a rain delay, was able to drive back, and the game still hadn't started.
Welcome to college baseball.
Welcome to college baseball. The only good thing about playing in Chapel Hill this weekend is forecast looks beautiful. The weather looks beautiful. This weekend in the box, it's kind of like poetic justice. It's going to be ass. And I am so tired of covering baseball games during the rain. That's all I got to say.
Hey, well, I'm penciling it in. No pun intended. When the box hosts, right, I know that there's a little Arizona Jay Johnson rematch in the works, right? The box host, I'll see the people of Baton Rouge there. There's no way I can miss that, right? Because then if you lose there, I'm not in attendance. I'm gonna have my face all over dartboards.
I swear to God, I'll get my buddy who's an assistant DA to put a arrest warrant out for you.
Well, if that's the case, let's find a way. That GoFundMe better be real. I'm running out of my 2024 college baseball budget, baby.
Okay, we'll get you down here. Okay, I mean you might have to drive a little ways, but I got you on gas money. That's for damn sure.
That ain't no worry in the world, man. Anything for an experience.
And you gotta be there, man. You gotta be there. All right. Jack, thank you so much, buddy. I hope to talk to you again very, very soon. It's going to be a fun regional and playoff.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me, man. College baseball is the coolest.
It's the best. We'll talk to you soon, buddy. Have a good one. All right. That's our good buddy, Jack. Always fantastic. Always great. Let me wrap up very quickly on this recruiting update before we get out of here. I'm going to be giving, and I mean this wholeheartedly, I'm going to be giving some updates this weekend on our message board, ayssnetwork.com, on this weekend. Here are some of the headliners of guys that will be here this weekend. Jamie French, the number 4 wide receiver, 5-star, is going to be in attendance. So is Khalik Lockett, the number 2 wide receiver. DJ Pickett will be in here, and Dorian Brew will also be in attendance. It's a big weekend. And what I would say, is this. I think you need to land one of them or get momentum started back in your way. Because, look, you lose to Corian Moore. You had the issues when it came to the portal at defensive line. If I'm LSU, I'm doing what I need to do to lock up one of these dudes. Do I think that they will? I don't know yet. That's why you got to be in tune to the message board and the forum. I think that they do, however, have that same wavelength that I do. I think it's going to be an interesting weekend. I think there could be some positivity that comes out of it and something that we will love. So stay updated to that, and we'll see. Anthony, Matt, we need to get back on here. All right. We'll see y'all soon. Y'all have a good one. Peace.